Welcome, everybody, to Marshwiggle Madness. I'm Glum Puddle.
And I'm Jim Fan.
And we are gathered here today to determine, finally, the official favorite Chronicles of Narnia cover of Talking Beasts, the Narnia Podcast.
Woo-hoo.
We've got 32 covers we're going to go through, and it's been quite a road to get here.
Oh, my goodness.
There are so many Narnia covers.
So many
we
more
had to
than
get it to a manageable number.
I know. So many more than we thought. I think we started out with 220 covers. And then we went to our Patreons, our Knights. We had them look at everything and kind of vote. Took the average to get our top 70 over all 7 books.
And put those in front of all Narnia Webbers around the world.
All Narnia Webbers. And so many of you guys voted for your covers. We had so many more submissions than we even dreamed of.
That brings us to today, where we have 32 divided up into 4 regions. And Jim Finn and I are going to take it from there, ultimately culminating in a Final Four and crowning a champion. Jim Finn, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Further up and further in. Let's start off by looking at covers in the Magician's Nephew and Last Battle region. First up, we have the number 1 seeded Magician's Nephew up against the 8th seed Last Battle. That's a first edition of the Last Battle. And I should note, by the way, that Magician's Nephew cover is not only the number 1 seed of this region, but of the entire competition.
Yes. And that surprised me when I saw those numbers come in. I mean, it's such a classic cover. But that fact that it was consistently over so many different rounds of whittling down still ended up number 1.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see what we think, if that's the number 1 in our hearts.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Well, as far as this round goes, I'm looking at this first edition Last Battle cover.
Yes.
And I know it's a first edition, and so it has a lot of kind of nostalgia. Oh, I remember 1956. Remember the smell of the pages? No, not that kind of nostalgia. So it's it's a first edition. There's a sense of reverence about that. But of all the Pauline Baines illustrations you could have chosen, this seems like an odd choice to me.
I agree. It doesn't really represent the Last Battle very well, but it's just beautiful. This one, however, is such a classic. I see that, and it's Narnia to me.
So are you going to vote for that one then?
But I love this
one.
one.
Oh, my God. Wow.
I love it. But
I mean, I'll give you this one's a little generic in that if it was in a pile of fantasy books, it would probably blend in with the others.
Yes.
But I don't know. This one, and part of it, I'll admit, is that I don't want to knock out the number.
I know.
This is just us.
Also, this is the thing in my heart too. Is but this is
the number
what
1
the people want.
Which is this tournament, it's us at this point.
Yes,
it's just us. But still, the very first
power.
round. But I think this is a close one. I see what you're saying, but I've got to go with the top seeded Magician's Nephew one.
I understand what the tiebreaker is going to be, so
you're just going to go ahead and vote for the
I'm going to go ahead because
okay.
I have to be true to my heart.
Okay, so in the event of a tie, which, wow, that didn't take long.
It did not take long.
We are going to go to our Knights of Narnia Web. That is the top tier of our Patreon supporters.
Yes.
And we're going to see
amazing.
just what they thought, and they are going to break the tie. So, Melton Tully, could you please point to the cover that got the higher rating according to our Knights of Narnia Web?
There's no way.
There's
no way. I feel like that's statistically impossible.
3.83.
What? No.
Yes.
I did not see that one coming.
Do you want to change your vote?
No.
It's okay. Okay. Wow.
I can't do it.
Wow.
I love it.
Okay. Wow. The top seeded one in the whole competition out in the first round. Throw the tomatoes at Jim Fan. Wow. Already so much drama. But let's see what happens here. Do
you think this one's going to be a little more clear cut?
Let's see here. I kind of have the feeling that it probably will be. So we have another first edition of the first edition Narnia book, The Magician's Nephew. And then on the left here, we've got what looks like obviously the scene where Diggory sees the bird, although I don't think he was riding Fledge when that happened. So I don't know how accurate this actually is.
But they had to get Fledge in there somehow because it's so
There's a lot of Fledge on Magician's Nephew. There's a lot of Jewel on Last Battle. There's a lot of Dawn Treader on Dawn Treader.
Yeah.
Trends we've seen. Where does your heart kind of pull you right off the bat?
Well, I have to go this time. I will go with the consensus of the people. I love this one for the same reason that I loved the other one, which is the simplicity. I think that is like super evocative.
You know, I do like this one has kind of an atmospheric, kind of fogginess to it, which I do like a lot.
Yeah.
But I am going to go with the first edition Magician's Nephew. I'll talk more about my reasons for that in a future round. But, yep, I'm going with first edition Magician's Nephew.
It's very beautiful.
Moving on.
Moving on. Easy peasy. A 4th seed last battle, and then also a 5th seed last battle.
Battle
So
of the Battles.
Battle of the Battles. They're like right next to each other, neck and neck. If I'm recalling correctly, these are probably very close.
Probably like 3 decimal places separates.
Yes, they're
the
probably
average
very
scores.
close in the voting. Yeah,
They're very different.
They're extremely different. Like this one over here gives me that kind of like engraved Bible vibe,
which is cool.
and then this one was part of the. I'm trying to remember the series that this was in, but
The Chronicles of Narnia.
yeah, that's thank you. No, but that specific was it like the minimalist one or no? This is not the minimalist.
I forget what the
series.
name of it was,
It
but
was
yeah,
like-
I got a lot of votes. So
Yeah.
I mean, this one, the 5th seed is very kind of montagey, kind of a
Yeah,
You know,
like-
a movie comes out and there's a lot of famous actors in it. You get inevitably kind of a floaty head poster.
Right.
This one's a little bit like that. Then
Narnia's done it.
the 4th seed is very simple,
Yes, but it's very evocative.
extremely evocative.
It's just Jewel with blood dripping off his
Yes,
mouth.
which I really appreciate. Now, it annoys me how often Jewel is on the cover of Last Battle covers. That's what pushes me away from this one a little bit. It just seems like people in suits' decision to say, well, little girls will like, unicorns, so we have to have a unicorn on there.
No. Everybody likes unicorns.
Well, you're a girl, aren't you?
Yeah, but
So of course you think that.
everybody likes unicorns, right? Everybody
But-
likes unicorns.
Okay, but anyway, that annoys me a little bit. But what redeems it for me is the blood on the tip of the horn, which tells you
Yes.
it's a very typical fairy tale image. But they add that blood, and it's like, oh, this is going to be darker. This is going to be. It
it's
sets
dark.
the tone for the last
Yeah.
battle perfectly. So, although I usually don't like how character faces are drawn. I just never how I picture them. But I kind of like how I guess that's Eustace and Jill. I really like that's very much how I picture them.
Yeah.
So, and like you talked about the engraved Bible, there's a lot of things about this I really like a lot. But
Yeah.
overall, like you said, that last battle image, so evocative, so simple,
Yeah.
gets my vote.
I agree.
All right, next up we have a 3rd seed, Magician's Nephew, up against a 6th seed Last Battle.
Very
And to
interesting.
my point, once again, riding on Fledge, Magician's Nephew, once again, Jewel, Last Battle.
The colors are very pretty, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It doesn't stand out to me. But
It almost looks like made of crystal or something. Well,
Yeah.
look at Fledge.
But it's as I'm looking at it, I'm considering it in a new light. And then this one over
Last
here,
Battle.
this is this one is emblazoned in my memory because this is what they've also used for the focus on the family.
Right. Uh-huh.
The
audio
dramas.
Uh-huh.
Then I've got the CDs. Kids these days they don't use CDs anymore, but you know what
I
I'm
still
talking.
listen to CDs.
You know.
And I listen to Narnia on my 8-track tapes every now and then.
So it's super classic, and it does sum up Last Battle in that there's the door, and there's the unicorn.
Well, let me just ask you a question.
Yeah.
So
what's the
right
question?
now we are outside the stable looking in, right? We're in
Narnia looking into.
We're the real Narnia. We're in
Yeah.
with Shift and everyone on the
Yeah,
outside,
yeah,
the
yeah,
old
yeah.
dead Narnia.
Yep.
And we're looking inside and seeing the beautiful world inside, right?
Yes.
Where's the stable?
It's disappeared.
But shouldn't
It
now?
should be the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. If we were inside the real Narnia, yeah, we'd be seeing the doorpost.
But they wanted to emphasize the fact that it's
Dead. See, I kind of
Yeah.
wonder if the concept was originally reversed, where we saw dead Narnia inside,
Possibly.
and they changed it at the last second and didn't really think it through.
It's just an impression. What you're going to be encountering in the book, but it's not exactly
No, it's
mechanically correct.
Dark, and it's it looks like almost like skeletons or something at the bottom.
It does
there.
kind of
And
like a
but this ray of hope
great-
right in the middle.
Yes. It's beautiful,
so-
but slightly incorrect.
Yeah. So I think that slight, not that it matters, but inconsistency.
It bothers you
It's
enough.
bothering me a little bit. Maybe it doesn't matter. And the sort of Photoshoppiness of it, I kind of have mixed feelings about. Like, I like it, but maybe not for Narnia. So I must say, I really thought I was going to vote for The Last Battle when this started. But it just over the course of even hearing you talk about it, I realized I kind of like part of it is just I'm tired of seeing kids riding Fledge on the cover of Magician's Nephew. But
that's a very interesting iteration.
I think that this one Last Battle I found more problems with as I've looked at it, and this one I've come to appreciate more things about it. So I'm going to go with third seed Magician's Nephew. I'm
also going to go with third seed Magician's Nephew. I don't really have anything against this one, but visually...
The fact that it's wrong, you're fine with that?
Well, the fact that I've now like been pointed out to me the fact that it's wrong. Now that bothers me. Okay, now I have a problem. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All that drama just for us to agree.
There you go. All done.
Okay, we've got an 8th seed first edition Last Battle and a 4th seed
the battle of the battles again.
Yes, and I think this is going to be I know
my heart.
Okay, I already know what I'm going to vote for, but let's just let you take the floor here.
I love
what's going on inside your heart.
I love both of these. Like, I have always loved.
I love her agony.
I've always loved this one. The unicorn with the single drip of blood. Yeah, and compared to this one, it does fit. Like, it does tell you a little bit more about what the last battle
very different images for The Last Battle, isn't it? Very different tones.
This is like the happier version, and this is
Lucy and Tumnus are back.
I know, it's like, oh,
I want to read this book.
Sweetness. And this is like, it's like beautiful, but it's also like something's happening. Jewel's
always on the cover of The Last Battle, and that bugs me a bit, but this time they do something interesting with Jewel rather than just, look, a unicorn. Absolutely, I'm going with this.
Unicorns and sparkles and rainbows. It's like, no, there's blood on it. It's the opposite of sparkles.
No sparkles or rainbows.
I have to say.
Go with your heart.
They both have my heart. But like I have always loved this one, and
so it sounds like the first edition you kind of discovered in the competition, and this one, Last Battle, you kind of always loved.
I would have to say I agree that this one I probably never really saw until like I went through all of the covers and I looked at them, but it just stood out to me in how simple and beautiful it is, and it's Pauline Baines. Like,
that's true. It is Pauline Baines.
So
I'll give you that, but
I love it. But I love this one just a little bit more.
Okay, I love the inner turmoil, the drama. I love it. Fourth seed. We hate to say goodbye to this first edition. But fourth seed, Last Battle. Moving on. The first edition here, black and white. Nothing particularly fantastical about it. Like they're not in Narnia yet or anything.
They're not in Narnia yet.
They're looking at it. They're still on Earth, still in London, opening the door. Whereas the third seed is as fantastical as you can get, riding on the back of a winged horse, you know?
So, like, this one over here, the first edition, 2 kids, and they're, like, going around a corner, and they're like, ooh.
Great sense of mystery.
Something's inside, and then you read the title. It's The Magician's Nephew. Ooh, there's magic in there.
See, what I like is that there's nothing particularly fantastical about the artwork, but it does set up the theme of exploration and mystery, and then you see the title, The Magician's Nephew, and you know, oh, it's going to get fantastical in some way.
And so you're like, well, he must be the Magician's Nephew. This one, like, it's beautiful.
Yeah, like I said, like so much... kids riding on winged horse, but at least it's moody, so I like that about it. But I just love the journey this first edition takes you on. I
agree.
And also I also like that it doesn't spoil anything. This is from chapter 1.
Yes.
Whereas what's over here,
the story hasn't started yet.
Yeah. Whereas this is a huge, big, iconic, like with the kids on the back of Fledge, is a huge, big, iconic moment in the story that you don't come to for a while. So it's kind of spoilerish too.
Yeah.
So I love that this one. The first edition doesn't spoil anything, sets up the theme of exploration, and combined with the title, The Magician's Nephew, I just love the tone it sets for the story.
Yeah.
So it does a lot with very little. It absolutely has my vote.
I agree. I think this is very beautiful, but as a book cover that helps draw you into the story and kind of get you that sense of mystery, I think that our number 2 seed conveys that better.
Yep, it was good enough in 1955. It's good enough now.
Good enough for
First
me.
edition, Magician's Nephew, still in the race. Okay, we're going to decide which one will be representing the Last Battle and Magician's Nephew region in the Final 4.
Super cool.
We've got a 4th seed Last Battle and a 2 seed Magician's Nephew. This is a hard choice. Of course it is. It should be at this point in the tournament. I'll give you the floor first.
Yeah, so
this is really hard.
We kind of talked about first of all, what does your heart tell you? What's criteria?
What does the blood in your heart tell you?
What makes this a good cover? And it's I love that we got one of each book in here.
That's
so
cool.
It wasn't like
it'll be either be The Last Battle or The Magician's Nephew represented in the final four, not both.
Only one is gonna move on. They both do such a good job at kind of giving you a taste of what's inside.
They're both very simple.
They're both extremely simple. Like it's just a single image. There's no montage image. One
of them is black and white. One of them is very controlled color palette.
Yes.
So very limited colors.
Yeah. There's so many Last Battle covers. We've seen them all, and we saw a whole bunch of them during this matchup. And I've yet to see a Last Battle cover that tells you, gives you the best, evocative feeling about what's inside the book.
There's this foreboding. You know that things are going to happen
Yes.
in this book that could not happen in any other Narnia book, which is always the shock of Magician's the Last Battle.
This again, like we said before,
First edition.
It's a first edition. It's incredibly good at drawing you in. But I think the reason why I'm going to give it to The Last Battle is because it's a little more modern and it appeals to my modern sensibilities.
Okay.
Where this one, is for the time that it was created, is extremely effective. But for what we this, I would feel wonderful having this on my shelf, displayed. People walk in, they see my book, that. It fits. It looks good anywhere. This one, it is a little I can almost smell it. You know what I mean? I can smell the musty.
That's a
book,
good thing,
which
though.
is a good thing.
Okay.
But
so I pretty much agree with everything you said about The Last Battle cover. However,
no.
I still think this first edition Magician's Nephew, the more I look at it, says Narnia more. Maybe the fact that
But they're not even in Narnia.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying the tone of it, the feel of it. It says captures the tone and feel of Narnia more. And it's funny, you said you liked how the modern sensibilities. Maybe that's why The Magician's Nephew is appealing to me, that it doesn't have a modern sensibility.
Are you saying you're old at heart?
No, it's just
an old
it feels like
person?
something old-fashioned, and I like that when I read Narnia, it doesn't feel like something that was written today necessarily. It transports me not just to another world, but to another time period.
But it's not even
I agree with a lot of
Narnia.
things, but it's fine. Well, I agree with, but it's Narnia in that it's kids, it's exploration, and the promise that magic is coming in the title. I think that I really think we agree on the way we describe both of these, but my heart is going to the first edition Magician's Nephew. So
Go with your heart.
Do we have a stalemate here?
I mean, as I've said before, I love this one.
Okay.
If this one's going to keep knocking out other covers that I love, I love it more.
Okay.
So I can't change mine. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
So
well, then, wow. So the Knights of Narnia Web are going to decide which of these will be represented in the final four.
So we'll see.
Melton Tolly, which of these is moving on? A first edition Magician's Nephew moves on.
Nephew.
Thank you, Knights. You did it.
But I love this one too. So
Yep. It's a first edition. Hey, the Pauline Baines is our
Can't go
first
wrong.
champion. Hey,
Cannot
nothing
go
wrong
wrong.
with that. All right, thank you for watching, everybody. Join us in the next episode where we are going to be looking at our Silverchair and Horse and His Boy region as we continue down this road to find the official favorite Chronicles of Narnia cover of Talking Beasts, the Narnia podcast. So tune in next time.